Hello, and welcome to the Love Your Work Life podcast. I'm your host, Elissa Shuck. Whether you're going for that next promotion, looking for a job, or making a career pivot, I'll teach you how to navigate it all so you can have the career you want. Welcome to episode 106. I want to share with you to keep on the alert. Hopefully you're on my email list. If you're not, I'm going to go ahead and put a link to the subscription page in your show notes because I'm getting ready to do a 3-day workshop on career relationships. And listen, we all know we spend so much time at work and we aren't always friends with everybody at work, but those are relationships that deserve our time, attention, and skills when it comes to how to maximize them for your own personal happiness, job satisfaction, and evolution of your career. All right, I can't wait to see you at that 3-day workshop. On to today's topic. I was thinking about how the day-to-day kinds of things, the routine kinds of things that happen that you're just doing as they come along, maybe it's a routine, all of those things make it easy to forget why your role exists in the company. It doesn't matter if you're an individual contributor, one of those worker bees, or if you're in a leadership role. When your work life becomes routine, you start to lose the essence of it, the meaning behind the role, the purpose that you are fulfilling through that role as someone who is contributing to the organization, someone who's contributing to the team, right? It's like I said, it doesn't matter if it's just you or if you're leading a group of people. I want to walk through some ideas to help you stay connected to your purpose, to your role, and not let the day-to-day stuff distract you. Because when you are not connected to your purpose, it's also easy to get frustrated. It's easy to lose sight of your value inside the organization, to truly appreciate what you're doing on a regular basis that keeps things moving forward. Here's how I know that it's true, and I bet you do too. Have you ever lost someone? If you're paying attention, you realize the value of that person. You realize what's missing because they're gone. Wouldn't it be so cool to actually appreciate what is missing before it's gone? This is what I want you to be thinking about when it comes to your own career. And the way I am proposing that you do that is through a little phrase called always be consulting. Now it's very similar to the sales phrase always be closing, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about consulting, and I'm talking about it from the perspective of you consulting you being the consultant of your career, of your thoughts, of what's going on. Let me break it down for you. First of all, the definition of consultant is a person who provides expert advice, someone who helps manage a specific piece of work within the organization. So if you think of your own career as its own ecosystem, as its own organization, you are the person, you are the consultant that's managing all of the ins and outs, the specific things that are going on inside your career. You actually are the person who can provide that expert advice to yourself. We'll get into that a little bit later because I think it's so fascinating when you take this perspective about your work life. Here are some key components, 4 components for always being consultative, always be consulting in your own career. The first one is curiosity. Asking yourself power questions every day. Pick one power question you can ask yourself every day, and you will elevate your career, my friend. And I don't mean just getting a promotion. I mean you will elevate it because your career, your role will become more elevated in your mind. And when it does, you will rise to that level. It's a natural byproduct of asking yourself some really good questions. So, what is a power question? It's something that draws the best out of you. It's something that requires you to think more deeply about what you're doing, how you're contributing. Here are some ideas. How can I make this easier? Now, I know it seems like a really simple question, but if you ask yourself, how can I make this easier? Then you are asking your brain to come up with ideas, to be imaginative, to be creative. So cool. Here's another one. What's great about this? Now, this one, especially if you are in a toxic environment, if you're overworked and stressed out, that's an occurrence regularly or even irregularly. Asking yourself what's great about this can be so powerful because it's creating another perspective. You are asking your own brain to look at different sides of the problem. I love asking that question because when you're facing a challenge, asking yourself what's great about it is reframing the situation. It's easy to come up with what's great when things are going great. But when they're not, and you ask yourself, what is great about this? Now you're changing the game. Here's another wonderful question. How am I the perfect person to do this? Think about the times when you want to make a career pivot. Think about the times when you are ready for a promotion. This is an incredible question to ask yourself. How am I the perfect person to do this? Because now your brain is looking for that evidence. Looking for evidence that civil service job actually has components to it that are perfectly applicable in the corporate world. How is it you, as a salesperson, can move seamlessly into a brand role, into a marketing role? Well, first of all, you know your customer really well. And what's good marketing? It's knowing the client, it's knowing the customer, it's knowing the audience really well. When you ask yourself these kinds of questions, you are tapping in to your own brain to help you leverage the skills you already have, to be imaginative, to be creative, to look for new ways to get things done. Look for new possibilities for adding value. Now, the next step, number 2, I call reflection. This is a reframe of these questions you've asked yourself. So think about it like you're having a conversation with yourself. When you are a consultant, or you're taking a consultative approach with the people that you're speaking with, then a great thing to do is to reframe those responses. And you can do the same thing for yourself and make it about them. Those are the most powerful investigative and even negotiating techniques that you can have, is when you make it more about them than you do about you. Now let's not overcomplicate this. This is two aspects of your own consciousness having a conversation with each other. So when you are reflecting, when you are thinking back to the responses that you gave yourself through curiosity and through those power questions, it's your opportunity to go deeper. You do that by reflecting back with responses like, it sounds like ... So what you're saying is ... Fill in the ... Fill in the blank with your own reflection on what you've just communicated with yourself. This is your way of being a compassionate witness and observer of your own life, of your own thought process, of your career. This is a way for you to tap into the deeper reasons why you might be struggling with something, the deeper reasons why you just can't get that career pivot off your mind, the deeper reasons why certain aspects of your role you find boring or frustrating. It's your chance, my friend, to dig deeper, to consult yourself, to ask great questions of yourself, to draw out the information just like a consultant does, so that they can do the next step, which is prescribing. It's very easy for the next step to feel like problem solving. But a prescription isn't really about solving a problem. You are not a problem to be solved, a thing to be fixed. When you look up the real definition, the real origins of the word prescription, it means a recommendation that is authoritatively put forward. Or said another way, the authoritative recommendation of an action or procedure. After you've been curious, after you've asked yourself these powerful questions and then reflected on what you're hearing in your responses, you now get to be the authority in what comes next, in what you're going to put forward. When you start thinking of yourself as the authority in your own life, you don't actually need input from other people. Once you start looking inward, once you start asking yourself to be creative, to come up with the answers. And what's so awesome about being the authority in your own life is you're listening to your own inner wisdom. When you can't get that certain situation off your mind, when you are drawn to certain roles, to certain ideas, I talk to so many clients who are actually coming full circle. They're well into their career and they're thinking about something that they left because of a choice or a decision, or maybe they just fell into. It doesn't really matter what the reasons are. When you find yourself going back to things you used to do that you really like, and for some reason you gave them up for another career direction, but you can't get it off your mind, you are trying to tell yourself something. These aren't just thoughts to be ignored, passed over, and dismissed. This is the opportunity for that kind of wise, observant conversation within yourself. It's about listening to your inner authority, to your own inner knowledge and wisdom and experience. These ideas, these thoughts, these experiences, these gifts, everything is accumulating inside you. So of course there would be wisdom there. Of course, because you're observing, you're bringing things in. All of the ways that you've engaged the world in your career are informing that inner wisdom, that inner authority. Think about it. You've always managed, you've always responded, you've always figured things out. You've always been able to handle anything. You've always been able to tackle what's next, and you can do it again. And that leads me to the fourth element of always be consulting, and that is it's time to expand, not because you're solving, but because you are this authority in your life committed to evolving. We don't have to tell the universe to grow and expand. It's natural. It's physics. It's always happening. And you don't have to tell yourself either. You're always consulting like you're the authority and like you're the client in your own life. That's what I want you to do. That's the mindset I want you to have through curiosity and these power questions, through reflection, and as a result of reflection, to prescribe what's next. Not as a problem-solving thing, but as the authority in your own life to make that recommendation, and through that recommendation to decide to expand. My friend, I venture to say that you, that me, that all of us have the answers to the questions that we're asking. The sad truth is, most of us aren't asking the questions. We're just moving along, accepting what comes, whether we're happy about it or not. So start consulting with yourself. Always be consulting so that your movement through your career and life is something that is connected to your essence, something that's deeply connected to the value that only you can bring in the world, whether that's day to day in your job or in the big picture of life. You've got this. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Here's the thing. You are going to work 90,000 hours in your lifetime. That's 30% of your life. And for some of you, it's probably even more than that. So you might as well take control of it. Learn the skills you need to learn. Get the professional development resources you need to excel and deliver and have impact. That's what my membership, Control Your Career, is all about. Join for $20 a month or $197 a year. If you want VIP treatment, you can get access to that too. The bottom line is I want you to have all the resources you need to create a thriving career anytime you want. And when you hit some blocks, then I'm going to give you some things on how to survive too, week after week, month after month, inside Control Your Career. Go to elissa-careercoach.com/control-your-career. I will see you there.